Hey everyone, this is Emanuel here. So grateful that you are tuning in again, and we are continuing to read the Body Code book. I'm excited about this, and I just loving every part of it. There's little great new things that are being added, and also some kind of old things that were from the emotion code kind of extracted to kind of bring people up to where we need to be. And so I think Dr. Brad did that because some people will probably read the Body Code book before they read the emotion code book. So I love how there is some kind of regurgitation of some things that almost like preparing you. There's a lot of prepping before the actual book starts. But I want to go ahead and get started here. We are going to look at page 20. Okay, so page 20. What do we find here? Okay, so it talks about this amazing theophany that experienced for him, this spiritual moment where it talks about I received my answer. It's actually the second paragraph. On the bottom of the second paragraph said, I had received my answer in an unmistakable way. I now knew the road I was supposed to follow, and I never looked back. And that's when you heard this is a sacred calling. But it's so interesting how as soon as I read this, I was already thinking in my mind that all those practitioners out there, if you're one yourself, or maybe you're experiencing somebody who's doing this for you, I really feel like what they're doing is also a sacred calling, And it's so funny that Dr. Brad kind of beat me to the punch. He said it basically the next thing. I thought a lot about this experience. I believe that our very existence is sacred. And when we're helping someone to feel better, to function better, to be able to live their life more fully, we are doing something special. And what's interesting is that I really feel like that's the true sign of somebody who wants to serve humanity, not just make a service. I want to edify Dr. Brad. I really feel like he's someone that's here as he is part of the movement to create the new earth. And he's putting his brick in Zion, if you will. And what I'm really excited about is that he talks about sort of like transference. What I have is a sacred duty, but what you're doing for other people is sacred. And one of the things that I've noticed is that, for example, the word passion. Passion, some people say I have a passion to heal people. I have a passion to do energy healing. I have a passion, Everyone thinks that's always happy all the time. My passion, I'm always excited. I'm at 100 all the time. But really, passion actually stands for sacred suffering. If you go back to the Latin of it, it's like a sacred suffering, kind of like basically the suffering of Christ. And the real question you want to ask yourself if you are passionate about this work is, what are you willing to suffer for that's sacred? And I know Dr. Brad has gone through his suffering because at first when he opened up his book, he had to do it himself. There was a lot of obstacles that he had to go through. We're going to have our own obstacles to help other people. And it just is what it is. You may be cleaning someone's diaper and in 2 minutes you have someone else's session. That's just the way it is, But what are you willing to suffer for? And here's what I did in my beta test. If you're someone that, if you get excited about this book and you're like, wow, I just can't get enough of it, and I did a couple sessions on some friends, I'm kind of getting excited, then this may be your calling. And I would do this if I made no income at all. If I just knew that my family was safe, but maybe I even lived in a box, I would still do this. I'm willing to suffer for this mission. And so I love the fact that he kind of does some transference there. He talks about how it's a sacred calling, but hey, if you're doing something great, if you're helping people, it's sacred too. And so I love that. Okay, let's go to page 22. Okay, so page 22, belief affects healing. It says here, some of my patients deep down believe what they had been told, that they never get well. I found that when a patient internalized the belief that they couldn't recover, their disbelief stood in the way of their healing. Thought is energy. Belief affects outcome. This is so crucial. What you believe literally creates your world. I'll say it again. What you believe creates your world. What you believe creates this relationship. What you believe creates the results you get from these sessions. So sometimes I kind of make a joke about it, but for those wonderful men out there who are close to energy healing, and maybe doing a disservice to your relationship because your wife is willing to grow. I hear about it all the time, but here's the beautiful thing. Even if the husband shows up cross arms, cross eyes, cross legs, crossed everything, and they're looking at me at Zoom. Back in the day, I used to do Zoom. I just remember saying like, your wife made you do this, right? She's like, yeah. You don't know anything about this, do you? No. You have no idea who I am, do you? No. And but you're here. And I said, you know what? The fact that you showed up is enough faith for you to get some great results. That's what I would tell them. And they would look at me kind of shocked. But I don't know if I even believe in this. I'm like, if you totally didn't believe in this, you would have totally missed your appointment. So the fact that you took the time to meet with me, and you can be negative all you want. You're skeptical, but you're questioning. You're wondering if this is real. Something deep down is telling you that there's something real going on. Why would your wife promote this if it wasn't real, right? So anyway, one of the things that if you're having issues with clients and they're not healing, they're not getting better, what you want to do is you want to ask this question: do you feel safe to heal? If it says no, if you're muscle testing no, you need to work on that and use the body code. What imbalances do I need to release so that your body says, yes, I do feel safe to heal? Then if for some reason it still doesn't work, a couple more sessions later, sometimes it's an inner child thing. Now, inner child doesn't really come out yet, but you can just basically say, can I connect with the inner child? I'll keep it very simple, not to make it complicated. Can I connect with your inner child? And what if your connecting someone says no? Okay. So there's some resistance. What resistance in the adult form and the adult body is not allowing me to connect with your little one? Then you work on that. Now connect with your inner child. Oh, look, yes, cool. And I start talking to her or talking to him. And I say, hey, my name's Emanuel. I've been working with your adult self. How old are you, by the way? It's like, okay, you're 14 years old. Okay. I heard you had some nicknames, and I ask, do you prefer to be called this? No, I prefer to be called this. Okay, cool. I have your name now. Kind of cool to know their name, know their age, and ask, is there anything that we can release from you that will help the adult self from being stuck from this symptom? I would love to do that. I also mention stuff like, hey, you know what? You deserve to be unconditionally loved. Your adult self unconditionally loves you, and your adult self wants to hear you out because I know you felt unheard at the age of 14. That's kind of how I do an inner child thing, and I just start working on it. And then I say thank you, and I say, hey, you guys should keep in touch. Maybe the adult self should do a meditation with you every single day for 5 minutes and think about you and play with you, your inner child. And then that really sometimes might be the kicker. Kind of goes right over. That's all. The child wanted to release some stuff. The adult is healing. It actually goes retroactive in healing. So it might be an inner child thing. If not, the last thing it could be is offensive energies. You have some very offensive energies, evil spirits, dark demonic entities, reptilian implants. There's something more negative. And I have an app that I use called the EER, Easy Entity Release. So that's my final sort of tool that I use if someone is not healing. So it's emotion code, body code, it's inner child, and then it's easy entity release. Those are kind of like 3 levels, but those are my backup tools just in case nothing is moving. But you'll be very surprised. 90%, if you just ask, do you feel safe to heal? And it says no. Or do you feel safe to heal the symptom? And it says no. So we want to make sure those are both yes, by the way. Do you feel safe to heal? And do you feel safe to heal the symptom? Those are both very important. But those are the 3 levels that I use, okay? But belief literally does assist the healing. It's true. The next thing he talks about is depression on page 23, from deep depression to happiness with the body code. And here's what I want to tell you. Depression, in my experience of 9 years, could be a lot of things. Could be entities, which is definitely found in the body code. Could be heart imbalances. You guys know that if your heart is in balance, it can cause anxiety and depression. Whether it's a spiritual, physical disconnection, or just a heart imbalance. Your heart's not happy. Is my heart happy? No. Okay. Then that might be causing fatigue, chest, shoulder tension, circulatory, heart palpitations, anxiety, and depression. Those are all, if you look up the heart in the body code, those are the things that I memorized there. Might cause those things, but it does say depression and anxiety can cause that. So you might have a heart imbalance. Oh, and also fatigue as well. What else? Conception meridian. In the body code, there's meridians there, kind of like Chinese acupuncture, meridians. The conception one gives spiritual issues, anxiety and depression. No will to energies, will to live, no will to live, will to die energies. I mean, there's a lot of no will tos now. You guys are so lucky. You guys have a chart where there's some no will tos. Back in my day, when I got started, there was a no will to, and there was basically no will to live and will to die. And that was basically it. But now there's a chart of other no will tos and will tos, and you guys have that in your body code app. It's called the Discover Healing app now. I believe it's $25 a month. You can actually get the app without even being certified. That's something that Dr. Brad just did. So that's pretty amazing. You could figure out, if you could just figure out muscle testing, I would have the app. Even if you're not a practitioner, you could just work on yourself like every 2 days. Just say, is there any trapped emotions I need to release right now? That might be very powerful. Also, so what you want to remember is this amazing phrase, is anything can cause anything. Okay? Very powerful. When I look at anybody and I work with them and I'm talking to them on the phone, I always tell myself, anything can cause anything. Just, I don't want to jump to any conclusions, what it could be. Page 24. At my first body code session, I felt very heavy. Do you guys see that? It's the 4th paragraph down. After my first body, this is a testimonial. I felt very heavy. I still felt the depression, but in a different way. It took time and reassurance that I was healing. I had to continue to remind myself to be patient and allow my body the time to let those energies go and heal from the weight I was carrying. So there's always a 20% chance that you might feel an echo. That's when you feel you're processing the emotions and you're like echoing a certain emotion. You might feel heavy depression or heavy anxiety, whatever you removed, right? One time I had a will to die that I removed probably a day before, and I was like, what if I just took my car and just ran it off the freeway, And I'm like, where's that thought coming from? But if you look at will to dies, those can cause symptoms of suicide ideation. My thought was the day later, and I was like, wait a minute, I had a session done yesterday. That makes sense why I might have felt that way, right? So just know there's a 20% chance per session, right? I always tell people, if you have 10 sessions, 2 of them, you may have some echoes, right? But that's not that bad. 8, no echoes. So it's not that bad. But here are a couple of tips to help your client out or you out if you're done with your session, okay? Number 1 is you want to reset all your chakras, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, program the body. So I'm using a swipe over my head, or I'm doing it mentally in my mind, or I'm using my finger sometimes. This is the governing meridian in Korean acupuncture. I just go, I'm resetting all your chakras. I'm programming your body to process easily, peacefully, and effectively. Programming your body to process easily, peacefully, and effectively. The last one I like to add on there too, which is very powerful, is fold all old timelines we've cleared from, place yourself on a new higher timeline, and restore your light essence back to you. Again, fold all old timelines we've cleared from, place yourself on a new higher timeline, and then restore your light essence back to you. These are the things that I say after every single session. If you're my client, you know this. If you're working with a practitioner, tell them to say this to help you out in your journey, okay? What else? 26. Bottom says, I believe, the second paragraph, I believe that the body code system is the most advanced and comprehensive method of natural energetic healing available on the planet today. I always tell people it really is. It's really over 250 hyperlinks. And it's the most powerful thing about it is that most energy healing, sometimes you're removing the top of it. You're just removing the top of the weed, right? With the body code, because you use that word AI, not artificial intelligence, but it means associated imbalance, then that means you can go levels deep. Like, why do I have that? Because of this. Why do I have that? What's the associated imbalance below this? Then you go another level. So you're going down these levels. Sometimes you go 3 levels, 4 levels deep. Then you remove it from the bottom up. Then boom, that thing on the top doesn't come back. So that's really powerful. That's something that you have in your hands in an app. So that's kind of exciting. So I love that. Whenever people see in my notes AI, that means I'm digging deeper. Is there something that's below this? I always ask that question. Okay, number 29, second paragraph. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Second to last paragraph. It says the original versions of the body code system. And he starts talking about, like, there's CDs and there's all these different things there. And what's interesting is that I, to be honest, I have back here the body code system in paper format. It's like in a spiral. My father read the whole thing. But what you want to do is just know this. I think hard times are ahead of us. It's very, very clear to me. I've had dreams about it. I think we have like 6 months food storage. Tough times are coming, okay? Just be open-minded. I don't want to go preach about it. That's a whole nother seminar I'm not going to go into. But just know that if you have an energy conductor, the ones that you can buy where you can put a bunch of plugs in, and it can be powered by solar power. So you have solar power, and you can plug stuff in still, okay? And then you're mobile. You can go camping, you can go to the beach, and you can just use the solar panels to get the energy. That means you can always use the body code app because you don't need Wi-Fi for the body code app. What if Wi-Fi towers go down and you're in the middle of the forest? As long as you have your energy conductor and you're using solar panels, then you can still use your body code app. In the future too, Dr. Brad predicted that you're going to be sending nutrients to people. Something about like there's going to be nutrient deficiency in the future. And this is something that I learned in his seminars. And you can energetically send nutrients to people. For example, he sent manganese to his daughter who had a headache at 11 o'clock at night. She wasn't going to go to Rite Aid or Thrifties to pick up her medication because that's just way too late. She was in her pajamas. So he energetically, intuitively sent her manganese, and then boom, her migraine went away. There will be a time where you will, people that are near you, maybe we don't have the nutrients, and you can energetically send some herb or some essential oil they need in their body, or they can't sleep, so you need to send, reishi mushroom or whatever. There will be a time where you can use that, and they have a bunch of herbs there, and you can ask what herb would benefit you, or what vitamin would help you right now, what supplement would help you. And so just know that there's exciting times coming ahead. The body code is definitely way ahead of its time, in my opinion. So hopefully you enjoyed this commentary. Feel free to comment below anything that you took from it, maybe something that I said that kind of caught your attention. Feel free to comment below. If there's something that you read between pages 20 to 30, please feel free to comment below. We would love your feedback. Definitely join HEAL. I always tell people go to haveempathyandlove.com. Again, haveempathyandlove.com. That's where my wife and I were doing group healings there every single week. We're working on PTSD, anxiety, and depression next week for 7 days straight. We're doing that. And children 17 and under are included. So please join us over there, because there we're doing the HEAL book club, and I'm putting these videos on there, and there's a bunch of different practitioners already adding comments on there, so you can see what other people are saying. So more comments in that area instead of YouTube. So again, it's haveempathyandlove.com. Thanks for joining in. Hopefully you gained some insight from this. And tomorrow I will do 30 to 40. So see you there. Take care.